Just like a lot of modern-day football coaches, Patrick himself had a football career. Known as an aggressive ball-winning defensive midfielder, cherished for his hunger and aggression, his sharp reading of the game, and relentless energy, he excelled in doing the tough, dirty work on the pitch. Despite his quality, he was often overshadowed by bigger names of his era. As a result, his playing career didn't take him to the top leagues. The furthest he went was Sweden, where he starred for Malmö FF. What started as a fresh challenge turned into a long stint. Shabango spent 7 solid years at Malmö. He became a key figure in the squad, respected for his consistency and professionalism. The Swedish game sharpened his discipline and deepened his understanding of tactics. But over time, something shifted. The passion for playing began to fade. He no longer found joy in being on the pitch as a player. Instead, he became more drawn to the tactical side of the game, analyzing matches, mentoring younger players, and thinking like a coach. By the time he hung up his boots, Shabango knew exactly where his next chapter would be: on the sidelines, leading from the dugout. In the summer of 2018, Patrick Shabango stepped into his first professional coaching role at Craiova FC, a struggling football club in Romania. Many questioned the decision. The team was near the bottom of the league, morale was low, and confidence had been drained by years of underperformance. For a coach with no top-level experience, it looked like a tough challenge. But from day one, Shabango brought something different. He wasn't just focused on tactics and formations, he focused on people. He spent time with his players, spoke to them as individuals, and showed them that he believed in them, even when they didn't believe in themselves. That approach changed everything. Slowly, the mood around the club started to shift. Players felt more motivated. They worked harder in training, played with more freedom, and started enjoying football again. Shabango created a positive environment where everyone felt valued, whether they were a star striker or a backup goalkeeper. On the pitch, he kept things simple. The team played with structure, pressed hard, and used quick transitions to hurt their opponents. But more importantly, they played together. You could see the spirit, the hunger, and the unity every time they stepped onto the field. By the end of his first season, Craiova had gone from relegation worries to a solid mid-table finish, just missing out on European qualification. But the signs of something special were already there. Then came his second season, and everything clicked. With a full year under his leadership, the squad looked sharper, more confident, and more connected than ever. Young talents blossomed, experienced players rediscovered their form. And Shabango, always calm and encouraging on the sidelines, became a figure the players truly respected and played for. The team went on an incredible run, beating some of the league's biggest sides and grinding out results when it mattered most. Craiova didn't just compete, they led. Week after week, they held their position at the top of the table. In a thrilling final stretch of the season, Craiova FC were crowned league champions for the first time in years. The underdogs had done it, and leading them every step of the way was Patrick Shabango. He came in with no big reputation, but he left as a hero. A coach who believed in his players, brought out their best, and built a team that played with heart. For Craiova, it wasn't just about winning the league. It was about rediscovering who they were. And that's what Shabango gave them. After 2 incredible years at Craiova FC, taking them from the bottom of the league to national champions, Patrick Shabango's contract came to an end. There were talks of renewal, but deep down, Shabango felt it was time for a new challenge. He thanked the club, the players, and the fans, then quietly packed his bags and returned to France, the country he originally called home. Soon after, he was approached by Clermont Foot, a mid-table team in France's Ligue 2. The club had been stuck in a cycle of inconsistency, finishing season after season without real progress. It was far from glamorous, but for Shabango, it was another chance to build something meaningful. And just like he had done in Romania, he started with people. In his first few weeks at Clermont, Shabango focused on building relationships. He spent time with every player, listened to their stories, and made sure they felt respected. Training sessions became sharper. The mood lifted. The squad, once quiet and disconnected, started to feel like a unit again. The first season was steady, finishing just inside the top 10. The second saw progress, as Clermont fought with the promotion spots but narrowly missed out. Then came the third season. Everything came together. With a mix of experienced heads and rising talent, Shabango's team played with confidence, pace, and belief. Game after game, they showed character. The fans could see the difference. and by the final stretch of the season, Clermont Foot had climbed to the very top of the table. Against all odds, they were crowned League Two champions. Shabango had done it again. He took another struggling team and turned them into winners. But just as the club prepared to enter the top flight, things changed behind the scenes. Eventually, new owners took over the club. Paulius Clements and his partner in crime, Maxence Clements, also known as his blood brother. It turns out that they were bringing different ideas and a different vision for the future of the club. They were known as arrogant and egoistic, as they had come from a powerful, rich family from Normandy. Despite Shabango's success, the owners seemed to have despised the man for no apparent reason. And despite all the success he brought to the club, they clearly had other vision. Patrick's contract was never renewed. No clear reason was given, but it was clear that his rhyme at the club was over. It was so frustrating as he had just brought the club back to life, literally rose them from the ashes. After 3 years at the club, having built a strong bond with the players, he was forcefully omitted from the club. Well, the news hit deep for quite a while. He was left with no options but to go back to Marseille to resume his coaching development course. 2 years after being shown the door at Clermont Foot, Patrick Shabango had quietly gone back to basics. He returned to Marseille, not as a head coach, but learning, observing, and rebuilding himself behind the scenes. No pressure, no headlines, just football with non-leagues. Then one day, his phone rang.
Yes, Tom. How's it going? Is everything all right?
Hello, mate. So we've just received a coaching opportunity. They're really in need of a replacement starting next week. So let me know if you're interested and I could run you through it.
Yes, that sounds good. Tell me more about the club.
Perfect. This will be a great opportunity for yourself to progress into your career after it was sadly cut short. They looked into your past records and your coaching badges, and they were impressed with what you had achieved. And they also are aware of your 7+ years coaching experience. So they decided to reach out to you. How's this opportunity sounding to you, Patrick?
Yes, 100%. Thank you, Tom. So where's this club based?
A Premier League club in crisis, fighting relegation. Their manager, Ruud van Nistelrooy, had just been sacked after a string of poor results. Morale was low, the fans were furious, and the board needed someone, anyone, to steady the ship. They offered Shabango the job, not as a permanent fix, but as an interim manager to try and keep the team afloat. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't secure, but Shabango said yes. He packed his bags, left Marseille behind, and flew straight to England. No press tour, no promises, just one mission: survive. And once again, Patrick Shabango stepped into the fire. Well, let's just say it was an awful start at the club. They really weren't lying in online articles. Leicester really are shit. Well, it got to the point where no matter what even happens, win or lose, relegation just wasn't avoidable. Players lost their desire to play anymore. Their heads would always sink after conceding. The club was at a terrible position, and the poor fans were practically wasting their money to come watch their club get thrashed. Something had to change, so we took the break from action seriously. We brought in new, fresh players with great profiles to strengthen the team and fill in the gaps left in the squad, because clearly some players shouldn't even be able to rep the badge. Leicester are now in their redemption arc and are working hard ahead of their championship opener against Preston. Stay tuned, boys and girls. You do not want to miss out. Thank you for watching. This is the first of many series. Make sure to follow to stay updated on the next releases. We're bringing another type of content to YouTube. Also, check out my TikTok page down below in the description. If you're a viewer from TikTok, then well done. You're an OG. Comment down below to make yourself known. You will be remembered throughout this journey.